What up, boys? Today we got more balances from Clash Royale. Before we start all of the balances and stuff, I just want to quickly go in to this. This is an update they did on the 29th of May, which is actually my birthday, fun fact, where they were like, we're gonna do monthly balance updates, and I think this is great. I think this is like a step in the right direction for Royale in general. I will have a video about stuff, which I'm not gonna spoil too much about, but it's somewhat related to this-ish, sort of, not really. Anyway, we'll go into the actual changes. So again, they did a cool little video on it. I'm not too bothered about this. We'll read them from here. So Spear Goblins, damage plus 34%, hit speed 0.5 seconds slower, and the first attack is slower. So we'll do this one by one. The damage takes their damage from 50 to 67, which is exactly how much a skeleton has in health. So they are one-shot skeletons. Their hit speed is now 0.5 seconds slower, which makes their DPS down by 2, just 2 damage, 2 DPS. So overall, it's a small bit of a nerf, but it's sort of a buff because they now kill skeletons, but how useful is that really? Skeletons and bats, I should say. Their first attack is also slower, which is like cool. I know the interaction on this affects Flying Machine and Musketeers, they wrote in the Reddit post, where the Musketeer will now not get hit by them, so it will now counter a Gob hurt and stuff like that. But overall, I think this is a good change. I think Spear Gobs need a nerf. Is it enough? Is it? Like, the DPS went down, the damage went up to kill skeletons, but is that really useful? I'm unsure. This one's weird. However, I think the card they were trying to hit with this was the Goblin hut. So this here, the Spear Goblin damage, allows them to now take 10 seconds off of the Goblin hut, and then nerf the Goblin hut with it. So before, taking off 10 seconds would have just killed the card, but now it only actually loses 64 damage overall. It loses 2 gobs, but the gobs that do come out do a little bit more damage. I like this change because, like, stacking Spear Gob huts was a really, like, it was an actual tactic, which is bad. Like, with Graveyard, if they were to poison your graveyard and not your huts, you just go, alright, I'll just get 2 out. But with this nerf, it's going to be harder to get 2 huts out because you have to cycle through all of your cards, but in 50 seconds opposed to 60 seconds. Next, they hit Mega Knight. They hit Mega Knight. Is it really a hit? They buffed it. Anyway, they touched Mega Knight. Oh, this is just weird now. They buffed Mega Knight, is what I should say. So they took his jump and spawn damage up from 360 to 443, but they took his normal damage from 240 to 222. So his overall DPS comes down, but only by 10 DPS. However, his spawn and his jump stay the same. I think this is a good buff to the Mega Knight because his spawn and jump are what they hit last time by 25%, and they're now taking up 23%. Overall, they still actually nerfed his jump by about 40 points of damage, and they've now nerfed his actual damage, so the Mega Knight won't be as strong as he used to be, but he could see a comeback. Barbarians now hit faster. This doesn't change anything. Apparently they also spawn like skeletons do now, opposed to being all clumped up. It doesn't really change much. Barbarians are still trash. Barrow can be knocked back by Barb Barrel, the Log. I think this also includes Bowler, which is weird. I don't know, I don't think Battle Ram was that good, and now they've nerfed it, but okay, maybe it's just for consistency. It's also obviously a buff to Barb Barrel and Bowler and whatever. I don't think it'll change too much. Raw Ghost invisibility delay increased from 1.2 seconds to 1.6 seconds. So this seems like a lot, but in the Reddit post they wrote that this only actually affects one interaction, which is allowing the tower to get one more shot on him. All other interactions apparently stay the same. If that is true, I don't think this is too much of a nerf. I think this is actually fine. Raw Ghost is like a really good card. I was saying the other day about how there are only really 3 good splash attackers, being Princess, Ghost, and Dark Prince. I don't know why they want to nerf all of the splash cards, but talking about splash cards, we got Wizard getting a buff. Alright, people I've seen in many places was like, oh my god, Wizard is like good. But I think it's just because they saw this. They saw big old number in 25 and they're like, wow. This actually doesn't change too much. His area damage radius 25% isn't a lot. Considering it's small already, it just gets a little bit bigger. Obviously it will help him. Area damage thing doesn't actually do anything. I think it now one-shots minions 2 levels higher, if I remember correctly. That doesn't really affect anything in terms of tournament standard or really on ladder, because if you're using Wizard already, you've probably got it like max, so it doesn't really change anything. And then this is like a small thing, so I don't actually think this is a big buff. I think Wizard could have done with more, because it is ultra trash. I think this is totally fine. Doesn't change too much. Now, Valkyrie's an interesting one, because I am really confused on this card. We saw a little bit of Valkyrie bait be used, but I still don't think it was actually good. I don't think that deck was a justified deck. I think it was just because Valkyrie got a buff, people started to use it. And I think this is going to be the same deal here. Although 7% hit points is actually a bunch. It now gives it more health than a bowler, so that's how tanky it is. I'm not really sure if it will fit into any deck, but I think the meta does sort of suit it. I made a video on this bait strategy, which includes Gang and Spear Girls, which obviously Valkyrie counters, so maybe Valkyrie's good. I'm unsure. I don't want to say no, but I don't want to say yes. I want to say no because, like, Valkyrie's bad and it's 7%, but I want to say yes, it's going to be good because it's 7%, which is a lot. But we'll just have to see. And finally, this is a card that I feel strongly on, the Ice Golem. I made an entire video on this. Its hit points go down by 5%. I like this. I really like this because Ice Golem is insane. Although, in my opinion, I still think it'll be pretty good. It could have actually done with more, to be fair. Overall, I think these balances are pretty good. I think they hit most of the problem cards in Gobhut, Ghost, Ice Golem, and stuff like that. And they brought a few cards back that are like, eh. I don't think Barbs will do much, I don't think Wizard will do much. Valkyrie and Mega Knight are the exciting ones there. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. But apart from that, peace.